Welcome to the Balanced Ambition podcast. I'm your host, Matt Southam. Here, we delve into candid conversations with entrepreneurs, exploring both their business journey and their secrets to maintaining mental well-being. As we navigate the balance of ambition and inner peace, I hope you find insights, inspiration, and invaluable takeaways in every episode. Thank you for joining us. Chloe, welcome to the show. I want to start by asking you about your journey. Obviously, I know a bit about your journey and the various sort of little businesses you've had and how you've built that up while working other jobs as well. But what first, as you go right back, what first got you into that entrepreneurial spirit? Where did this come from? You know, tell me from school to work, and how did you get here?
Yeah, wow. First of all, thanks for having me on, Matt. It's nice to have a chat with you.
Welcome.
I think it was when I was 14 I started my first business. And I'd been off school for a little while because I used to suffer quite badly from migraines, and I had six weeks off of school, still aced my grades and everything.
Good work.
And my dog spent a lot of time with me. And I made him an Instagram account because I got really bored. And then that Instagram account ended up having 13,000 followers, which then led to me creating a pet accessory business. So I used to hand make sort of bow ties and bandanas, which sounds silly, but I ended up selling to 48 different countries around the world and about 20, I think it's 26 different states in America.
Wow. So these are bandanas you made for dogs?
For dogs, yeah.
And through the Instagram account. And
the thing is, people will spend anything on their dogs. It's like a child, it's like a newborn baby. People dress their dogs up. People spend silly money on dogs. I spend silly money on my dog. But yeah, it was just crazy. And I think I sort of got a taste for like making money, but also that, you know, being sent pictures of people in, like I had people in Estonia, people in Australia, like dogs wearing my stuff that I'd made in my bedroom. And it was just like crazy. And I think that sort of actually seeing my work on people from around the world or on dogs from around the world really spurred me on. And it was just, it's like when you get a review, it's just such a overwhelming sense of achievement, and it just sort of made me want to continue. Then I went to college and I got my first job waitressing. Stayed there for 3 years until COVID hit, and then things got a bit strange. I was furloughed. I started working with Warming Up the Homeless at that point. I was working in their charity shops. I was doing their social media for them. I was sorting donations out. I was doing the outreach. And again, I think for me, building connections with people is a massive part of what I do, what I've done throughout my whole life. And it's a really important thing to me to create relationships because I'm a people person. So yeah, started doing that, and then I got a job at MJS Media.
Obviously that's how we know each other, you know, full transparency, you know, we've
so
worked together on lots of projects.
2 years, had my 2-year anniversary in July. And again, I worked closely with clients and they were really important to me. And having had my own businesses, I could understand like what they wanted, their frustrations with business, and it felt good to help people with their social media. And when they said like, oh, we've had a sale from this social media post or something, it was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And yeah, I've built amazing relationships with them. And then last year, so January 2022, it's the most random, bizarre thing that's ever happened, but that is just me. Like, I never planned really for anything.
So before we go into that, there's a reoccurring theme here that you really enjoy helping other people and actually really see something and get something out of other people doing well, which I think is such a good quality that people should have.
Just something about it. It makes you feel good, and obviously it makes other people feel good as well. And it is just, I just love forming connections with people. There's just something about that, and sort of helping them be the best that they can be helps you be the best that you can be as well.
I
Um,
100%
and
agree with
I
that.
think there's just something so special about that. Which is what led to like my main goal with the Good Grub, which is what I'll come on to in a minute, is to create a safe environment for everybody.
Yeah.
And you'll know if you've been in my toilet downstairs, which is a weird thing to say, but it is probably like the safest space you can go to because it's empowering. You know, people write on the walls all these empowering quotes and compliments, and it's just somewhere that people, any age, any gender, any lifestyle, any sexuality, can come and feel safe and create friends. Like that's something else that happens at the restaurant is our tables just start talking to each other. It's like such a community feel to it that you don't get anywhere else.
Okay, so let's rewind a little bit because
Yeah,
you're talking about the Good Grub, and obviously that's your new massive
yeah,
passion. So, where did the Good Grub come from? Because I'm aware this was at that sort of COVID period, and another
yeah,
Instagram account.
yeah. I like it.
So, yeah, well, no, but yeah, not knocking it. It's clearly working. So, talk me through the Good Grub and Instagram and your journey, and so you're obviously a vegan. It's a vegan restaurant, but
Yeah.
tell us all about that, and then because then I think it'll help people understand the toilet reference that you've just made. Obviously, I've seen it, so I know. But give us a little bit more background.
So I went vegan when I was 18, during COVID or just before COVID. And I started posting to Instagram recipe reels and that sort of thing because it was COVID. I was bored. I was furloughed. Didn't really have anything else to do, and it suddenly got very big, very popular. Um, Gained sort of 10,000 followers within about 6 months, which was crazy to me. And again, I made a really good community on there. It was all about helping people and people helping me in return. And I've met so many amazing people through it. I've been to PR events as well and that sort of thing, which is all really fun. And then it was sort of my portfolio. I think like Tommy Co, my dog business was sort of my portfolio for you, Matt, when
Yeah.
we met. And then the Good Grub became my portfolio for the next spontaneous thing that happened, with the Prince Albert. So it was a pub in Hastings, vegan pub in Hastings. I just texted them one night and asked if their kitchen was open. They said that their chef had left indefinitely. They didn't have any food. And I just went, oh, I'll come and cook for you. Ha ha ha. And they said yes. And then the next weekend, I cooked a fry up for, I think, 49 people. Never had a cooking laugh.
That's
Never
your
had a
first
cooking class
experience
in
with
my
any.
life. I didn't even know how to cook beans on toast like before then. And all of a sudden, like cooked for all these people in a pub. Everyone really liked it. So I came back the following week and the following week, the following week and the following week until the Good Grub was born. And I had a big launch party and had a queue out of the door, which was just ridiculous. We'd sold out within an hour, because veganism is such like a trendy thing these days as well.
Yeah.
And having a healthier diet, more sustainable things, again that community feel which you don't really get with any other sort of lifestyle. So yeah, the Good Grub was born, but I did not think it was going to then develop into a restaurant. Everything's quite random that happens with my life, but I'm very, very grateful for that.
Talk me through the journey of getting the Good Grub, because of course, I mean, you touched on your first business and things like that, and then you were 18, but you're 21 now.
21 now, yeah.
And you own a restaurant. So how did that come about?
I don't really know. Nothing was planned, and I think that's like the best things always just aren't planned. I found that
Like good nights out. You just go for
it just happens.
meet a friend, and before you know it, it's 4 a.m. Yeah.
And it's always the best, and that's definitely what's happened. And yeah, it's really stressful, and sometimes it's really hard. But I'm so grateful for that I took this weird, crazy jump. But I started doing pop-ups. So I would sort of rent out a kitchen in a pub or a restaurant or a cafe and sort of borrow their customers. So I would do the food and they would provide the drinks, and sort of like I paid a bit of commission and that sort of thing. And it was a really like easy and good way of doing things without having to pay rent and your bills and stuff and all this sort of thing.
Good way to start.
Yeah, there's a lot of overheads when it comes to a restaurant. So I started doing that, and then the pub closed down. So then I went somewhere else, and that closed down. And I thought, oh my gosh, there must be something wrong with me, because everywhere I go,
It's like this reoccurring theme.
And then I moved into Bexhill, and I did some roast dinners and Christmas lunches and that sort of thing in Sidley. And one of my customers that I met there actually tagged me in a post on the 28th of December last year that a restaurant was up for sale in Eastbourne. So I this is what I mean, like by me helping others and creating this community, they've massively, it was a customer that's led to this, because they thought of me and they tagged
Your
me.
tribe as such.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have
yeah.
even known about it if they hadn't said, Chloe, you should go for this, which is just crazy that a stranger that came to eat my food one day has changed my life, basically.
Yeah.
And so, yes, on the 28th of December last year, I reached out to Green Bros, which was in Eastbourne. They announced they were selling their restaurant, and it looked very nice. So I messaged them and said, have you got any more information? And they came back with the sale details. It was sort of affordable, but it was mainly very, very pretty. And as you know, I like pretty things.
Yeah.
And I sent it to my mum, just the PDF. I didn't send any message, didn't send her any sort of...
No real context with it.
I literally just sent this PDF over of the sale details, which was just a figure and a description of the restaurant, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I'd done this so many times. I made a whole PowerPoint about how I wanted a food truck once, and at the end of it, she just went, Chloe, don't drive. Those are the sort of things that I used to do. So I obviously wasn't expecting anything to come from this. But the next day I came home from work, and my parents sat me down. They just went, we think you should go for it. And to have that from them was it was just so overwhelming that they actually had seen, because they're not vegan. So it's a massive thing for them.
They could see something there and believed in you.
Yeah. So we went to go and see the restaurant on the 2nd of January. We went over as a family, and it was just stunning. It was so beautiful. It just felt right. So I put an offer in that day, and it was accepted. But then there was a lot of drama and difficulty, and it went on for 6 months until I got the keys, which all the struggles and everything.
Yeah, so talk us through some of those challenges, because there were multiple hiccups. So hiccups is probably underplaying it, but talk us through some of the challenges, because I think lots of people, if this is the first they've heard of you, they might look up the restaurant, wow, she's got this restaurant, but actually this journey, and often with any business, it's always the journey, and people don't see a lot of it. They don't see the bumpy road. They just see the destination you've arrived at. Talk me through that I suppose that 6-month journey of getting the restaurant then.
Yeah, so there was a lot that went wrong, really. And I think when you're in business, you have to become a bit of a bully, because I obviously wanted things to be reduced. They wanted me to be paying more. It was a difficult thing to try and navigate, and there weren't it wasn't always nice. But the first thing that went wrong was they said that I wasn't going to get any of the stock. And I was like, you agreed that I was getting the stock. So we had a big argument about that. The second thing that happened was I had to have a sit down meeting with the property manager.
Yeah.
And with my age and the fact I have pink hair and tattoos, they were like, we don't trust you at all. You're 21. Well, I was 20 at the time. You're a 20-year-old girl who has no business degree or anything. You've got no experience. Sort of completely shut me down. But I fought hard, because this is what I wanted. I knew this is what I wanted, and I wasn't going to give up on it anytime soon. So I fought a lot with the landlords and produced so many documents, so many financial documents, so many spreadsheets. It was crazy, until they allowed it. And yeah, it was a real struggle to try and prove that I can do it, but I know I can do it. And my parents had my back as well, which was a big thing. And you had my back, and so many people have my back. And I have customers, and I've got, social media is a massive thing again that proved that I was, I already had an established brand that had loyal customers, an amazing community behind me. It was just trying to prove that, yeah, I'm a 20-year-old woman, but I know what I'm doing. I don't have to be a middle-aged white man. No offense.
No,
Um,
no, taken on the chin. I completely agree with you. And I think actually just the way business works
yeah,
has changed. And so many people are caught up, where's this big
yeah,
business plan? Well, in fact, I've got 10,000 followers on my Instagram who are an exact target market. It's a
yeah,
niche market. And you had 10,000 of them
yeah.
wanting vegan food, and there wasn't a restaurant serving that,
No,
or
there's
not
no
to the,
restaurant in Eastbourne, so it's a complete gold mine.
yeah.
Um,
So
so
obviously you've got to, there always needs to be some financial documents and plans
yeah,
and things like that. But I think people misunderstand or maybe dismiss,
yeah,
some of the other assets, business assets, such as, target market following on social media
yeah.
that isn't traditionally looked at. Um, but for
They
someone in their 20s, of course,
yeah,
that's the way you're going to do it.
yeah. Well, a few things that came up in that meeting was that they thought I was a party girl because when I was at the pub in the pub garden, we had a DJ once. So they were like, you can't have any DJs and all this stuff. I was like, okay. And then they told me to go and do my homework, which was like the most
Bit
condescending
patronizing.
thing in the
Yeah.
world. So I was like, oh, here's my 30-page business plan and my 30-page financial documents. Do what you want with them.
Yeah.
Because obviously I was prepared. This is what I wanted. I wasn't just going into it blindly. I mean, it's a massive investment, like a massive investment. My life savings and all my inheritance has gone into this place because I know that I can make it work. So, and I'm sort of forced to make it work. So I was going to
Yeah.
go in there
You've
prepared. I
you've
wasn't
you've
going to
got
go in
that
blindly.
you've got the drive. You've got the drive
Exactly.
to make it work. It can work, and you've got, I guess, the ambition. I mean, and I suppose touching on the balanced ambition name of this, you've got the ambition to push it
Yeah.
forward, but you have come up against some challenges. So how have you found the balance part in that? Sorry, it led very nicely there. That was like seamless, wasn't it? But how have you stayed sane in that 6 months of the stresses? And of course, you were working full time
Yeah, I
as
was
well.
working full time
Um,
as well. But I love my job. That's the thing. I love marketing. I love social media. It's a big thing for me. That I again love seeing how these communities are created and how
yeah,
businesses can grow. But I also did travel quite a lot. Um, I was
yeah,
going away every month for a weekend just on my own to reset, um, and just have some time out from things. Because it was just constant, like until 3 a.m. every morning, trying to get stuff done, trying to get paperwork done, trying to prove myself. And
yeah,
like, I just needed a break every now and then. So I took myself off to Rome, to Lisbon, to Kos, to Lanzarote. I went to all these places, because I knew that once I was like locked into this restaurant, there was no way that I was going to be able to leave. So I was like, I need to get all
yeah,
my traveling. So the sixth, it was only supposed to be like a month of waiting for the restaurant, but I'm quite glad that it was 6 months because I got to travel a lot more than I would have done. And being young, like that is something that I want to do for sure,
yeah,
rather than just being locked into a career for the next 6 years. Um, so yeah, I did that a lot. Made sure I took time out. Like my family is, I still live at home. So again, that was a massive challenge because suddenly I've got to deal with rent and bills and all sorts that I'm not used to. And it's not even like I'm just getting a flat. It's a restaurant with a basement
it's
and a
yeah,
kitchen and loads of stock everywhere. And it's just a bit crazy. So
yeah. I
going
guess
from,
you've got a business, you've got business premises, you've got
yeah.
stock, you've got
So it's not
staff.
like I was
Um,
eased into it with my own little like 1 bedroom studio or anything. It was like I going from living in my bedroom to suddenly owning a 2-story premises,
yeah.
which was like crazy. Um, but
And
yeah,
have
like
there been some really challenging times? Have there, those times, have you ever
Yeah,
sort of considered, is this worth it? And
it's difficult. So I was still working full time the first month whilst running the restaurant, and I had my target was to have 15 people in a day. We ended up with 84 in one day. Like, it just completely exceeded. So I did drop down to freelance, which was something that I was sort of planning on doing next year,
yeah,
but it had to come forward, and it was something that my parents were really like wary about, because I now am fully self-employed at the age of 21. So that financial stability and security has gone, but I know that I'm going to be fine. Like, I have that mindset that I won't fail.
no,
And
you've,
even
you've,
if
you've got to make
like,
it work, and you want
I
to
have
make
to
it work,
make it
and
work,
you
I don't have a choice.
believe it can work.
Yeah,
There's got to be
exactly.
a belief. There's got to be a passion to
Exactly. So
drive
that
a
was a
business forward.
real, it was a, it was a big decision to make, but it was definitely the best decision for my own mental health and not burning out. Because when I'm in the kitchen sort of 16, 17 hours a day over the weekends. And then I don't really have a day off, because I'm either doing admin and paperwork and ordering or prepping, or I'm doing marketing or social media or something else. So it can be challenging. The last few weeks have been really difficult. We've had a few I've had some staff sicknesses. This is a new thing, like managing staff. It was just going to be me and one other person, but now I'm suddenly in charge of like 5 members of staff, because we've grown so rapidly,
Yeah.
which is crazy. And everyone's older than me, which again, like the age thing, I personally wouldn't listen to someone that was younger than me. So having to try and manage people that are sort of like 28, 29, 30 is really daunting, because I'm so much younger, and I feel it's
Do you
just like
think that's a
strange.
preconceived thing that you have, that they
Yeah,
might not listen to you because of your age, or is there evidence there that this happens?
I think it's just me. I think it's just in my head. I just feel really weird that I'm so much younger than them, yet I have authority over them. Like,
But you're
it's
you're a
really
team as well, and
difficult.
they've, if you can instill
Yeah,
the
I
same
have
passion that
my
they've got.
girls are honestly the most amazing team in the world. Like, they're amazing. I couldn't do it without them. They're so supportive and everything. But staffing is difficult. It's a difficult thing. Everyone told me it would be difficult. It is. They call in
Difficult
sick.
industry as well, isn't it,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
staff?
They
Yeah,
call in sick. Um, things don't always go right. They don't always do things your way. It's a difficult situation, and it's also difficult to try and manage that in a nice way, because it's a small restaurant, it's a small environment. You have to get on, like, you can't not see each other for half an hour, because you're like
yeah,
so tight. um, so if something happens, or there's a little bit of a fallout or something, you just have to get over it. You have to get on with it. So it's
yeah.
finding
That
the
that,
right
that
people that
resilience to
gel.
deal
Yeah,
with those issues.
it's difficult. Um, and then we've had airborne weekend recently, which was just absolutely manic, and we had staff sickness during that. 2 of the fridges broke during that week. It was just a horrific week. I even slept in the basement because I couldn't even go home. I was so tired. Like, it was just mad, but it was enjoyable, and I had lovely customers. I actually had a customer from that weekend send me a card in the post saying, "Thank you so much from your London admirers. We came during airborne weekend, and we can't wait to visit you again." So
Oh, that's
even though
lovely.
it was like the most horrific weekend of my life, it was so worth it because of that card. Like, I made a difference to someone's day, I think, and that is what it's all about. Like I say, it's the whole point of the Good Grub is obviously to provide good food, um, but to provide a safe haven for people where they can come and enjoy good food and feel safe. And they know that it's good for the environment, good for the animals, good for their health, good for their well-being, and just creating connections with people. But it does come with challenges, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, running a business comes with,
Yeah.
all businesses come with challenges. Obviously, within your sector, staffing and just
Hospitality.
some of the bits that you've touched on there, are going to bring those. extra stresses at a time when actually you're probably working more hours than anyone who's employed. So
Yeah.
you know, the fact you've got very limited time and in a very stressful environment, I guess the self-care time is actually really important. So what
Yeah.
are you doing at the moment to balance
Yeah.
that and get a bit of you time? Is it really that limited?
It's I'm in quite a good routine now. Um, so Mondays are my sleep days. I don't open on a Monday, and I get home on a Sunday night and I sleep and I sleep. I don't set an alarm. I turn my phone off because my body needs to just zen for a bit because it
Yeah,
hasn't slept for the whole weekend. It's absolutely exhausted. Like this weekend was ridiculously hot. I didn't have my gals in for longer than 8 hours at a time because it was too hot. But I was
yeah,
there for 16 hours because it's my
yeah.
business, it's my restaurant, it's my responsibility. But I did close on Saturday and I took the girls to the beach with a beer for an hour because I thought
Perfect.
we
Yeah,
need it.
sounds
We
lovely.
need it.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry to my customers if you want to come in for an hour, we're closed for an hour and that's it. We're going to get an ice cream, we're going to have a beer, and we're going to enjoy the sunshine because
you've
I
got to
needed
look
it. And
after yourself and your team. Because
absolutely, because it was too
either of
hot.
those aren't well, then you can't serve anyone anyway. And
No,
if
exactly.
you're very big on helping other people, but to be able to help
Yeah.
other people, you've got to
I
be
have
in
to,
the right
yeah,
mindset.
we have to
Yeah,
be
you've got to be there
happy and
yourself.
healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
completely.
yeah, Mondays are my sleep days. I don't do anything. I wake up one day, I woke up at 7 p.m. I slept for 21 hours straight. I was just so exhausted. So I do listen to my body as much as possible. And right now I do know that I'm quite run down. I've got a bit of a sore throat, got a bit of a headache. So I'm just taking it easy today. I'll get an early night again. I'll make sure I eat healthily today. Um, Wednesdays are my date days. Me and my boyfriend always have a night together on a Wednesday because we both work
Yeah,
stupid hours. So, Wednesday
that's
night,
really
I
good to
finish
schedule
at
it
6.
in.
Yeah, I finish at 6. He finishes at 5:30. We either we sit in the restaurant and we had a vegan cheese board one night. We went up to London last week, but it just means that I have a bit of time being a 20-year-old, 21-year-old girl
Yeah.
rather than a restaurant owner. And I get to enjoy my youth, which has sort of disappeared out of the door. Um, in November, I'm taking 2 weeks off. I'm just closing for 2 weeks because I know that I'm going to need it. As much as, having Monday to sleep is lovely, it's not enough for me. I need
No.
a reset before Christmas starts and January starts and the whole craziness continues. So yeah, I'm taking myself away for an all-inclusive holiday just by myself. Going to take a book, going to take my laptop so I can still do little bits because I think not having my laptop there will be more stressful because I'll
Yeah, that sort
want
of
to do a couple
attachment.
of things. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think I'll say, right, I can do an hour today and that's it, just so that I know things are in order because otherwise I'll come back and be like, oh my gosh, I've got to do everything in one day and
yeah.
it'll be really stressful. And then I'm just going to have a week at home because I live at home and I haven't seen my parents in about 5 weeks, which is ridiculous.
It does seem like although
So ridiculous.
life is challenging and busy, you are balancing it well, and
Yeah.
probably
Well,
more importantly, understanding you've planned ahead. I
yeah.
mean, we're what, early September now, and
Yeah.
you've planned the time off in November because once it builds up too much, it's almost
Yeah.
too late to take time. You've got to actually go, you know what? I'm going to need that break. And being aware of you and listening to your body and yourself and knowing that actually all of us need breaks. We've all got to take
Yeah.
breaks.
Well, that's the thing. Listening to my body is really important because, as you know, I got really poorly last year.
Yeah.
And that was from overworking. So I ended up in hospital with glandular fever, hepatitis, jaundice, and then inflamed spleen because I was poorly and I didn't go to the doctors. I just carried on working full time and doing pop ups and doing markets. And then the next thing I was in hospital for a week. Um, and I got better really quickly. Like my body was amazing, but I can't do that. I can't afford to do that again. So
No.
I need to make sure that I am listening to my body, that I am taking breaks when I need to take breaks. and that I am 2 steps ahead so that I don't ever fall back into that. Because if I was in hospital, no one could run my business. It's my restaurant, it's my business. So I have to make sure that that doesn't happen.
I can agree with that. And I think actually the takeaway I've got from today is listen to your body. I think, all of us maybe ignore those aches, pains, little
Yeah,
sniffles coming on, but actually your body is the best indicator to actually
yeah,
how you're doing, your health and your mental health and your well-being. Just listen to actually
absolutely.
what's going on. If
Yeah,
you were to give a bit of advice though to someone either thinking about starting a business or who is running a business actually, and they've got the challenges, such as you've been talking about,
yeah.
what would be your advice to them?
I think me, I try not to be stressed. So I'm not only the business owner, I'm also the head chef and I'm the only chef for the restaurant. And the thing that I know is if I get stressed, my team gets stressed and customers get stressed. And then it's not a
Yes.
nice environment at all. So if I remain calm, they remain calm, customers are happy, everything works better. And even
Yeah.
though it's really hard not to stress out, like I had a bill through the other day, which was ridiculous. I'd been put on emergency rates. It was an extortionate amount of money. And I just went, it's fine. It's fine. I'll recover that. It's not a
Yeah.
problem. We'll pay it
Yeah.
now. I'll sort it. It will fall into place. Might not fall into place now. There's nothing I can do about that. It's done. It's been there. It's done that. You've just got to get
It's
on with
done,
it.
and it's just how you deal with the
Yeah.
situation.
There's no point
Getting all
stressing out.
stressed doesn't bring any
No, there's
benefit.
no point getting stressed. If someone complains, that's I'm really sorry. I can't let that affect me. I have to be, I have to just let it slide. Or if something goes wrong, like we've had orders going to the wrong table, or people have, something's happened. People have knocked something over. We've broken things. People haven't been charged the right bills. Something like that. People calling in sick. I had 2 girls call in sick on the same day. I've got to get on with it. It can't stress out. If I stress out, then everything goes to pot. So I just
Yeah.
take a deep breath, and I know everything will be fine. It always will be fine. Everything always works out. And just get on with it.
Yeah.
Get on
I
with
do,
it.
I do agree. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be
Yeah.
things that
But you
come
learn
out
from
of
those.
nowhere.
I've
You
learned so
learn
much.
from them. Yeah.
Yeah. But
And you
no,
learn how
I
to.
can't. And I think having a good, strong team is a massive thing as well. Because like over the weekend, it was so hot, and the girls were constantly like, it's little things. They were topping up my water for me, and they were like, Chloe, it's quite breezy outside. Can you just go and have 10 minutes and we'll finish chopping the veg for you? There's things like
Yeah.
that, like, which is amazing for my team to do for me, because we get on really well, and everything's streamlined, and I can trust them. I think trust is a massive part of business as well.
Yeah. When you've got,
Massive part.
yeah,
Yeah, if you're
saying
employed
you
with
need
people,
to
you've got
trust
to have
people.
that trust.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were just, they were jumping in, they were making sure I was hydrated, making sure I was okay, because it was like 35 degrees in that kitchen with no windows, no aircon or anything. It was crazy. So yeah, but again, just having a good team that you can all bounce off and work well with, and that you can trust, and sometimes put some of the workload on. That's what they're there for. You can't do everything yourself, which I've learned. It's really
That's
difficult
a
to let go
massive
of the
one.
reins. Yeah, it's difficult to let go of the reins, but sometimes you have to. You can trust other people. That is what you pay people for, is for them to do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
Not
no point in employing people,
yeah.
paying them
It's
and
like
then
when you
having to
hire a
do everything
cleaner
yourself.
and you clean your kitchen before the cleaner gets here.
That's so common, isn't it?
Yeah,
People are so house proud that they tidy up
yeah.
before someone's coming around to
What's the
tidy
point
up.
in that? Because you've just
Yeah.
wasted £200 on a cleaner that hasn't got anything to clean. That's what people are there
That's
for.
a really good way to
If you're
yeah,
paying them a
explain
wage,
the situation.
yeah. If there's no point in me going on the bar if I've got a barmaid.
No.
So
No, it's
I
actually
need to
maybe it's
let
business
go.
owners sticking to your delegated roles.
Yeah,
I think so many business owners, we all try and do everything, or
yeah.
think we're the best person for everything.
It's
But
very
in
difficult.
fact,
I completely
we're not.
understand because it's your baby. And you've
Yeah.
put so much money into it and so much time into it and so much thought into it. And you have all these big ideas as well. And I think that's something else is you have to take things slow
Yeah.
because I've got all these amazing ideas that I want to do, like all these themed nights, and I want to open an Airbnb. I want to do markets and pop ups and all this stuff. I physically can't right
No.
now. I just have to focus on people eating in my restaurant, not even takeaways, just people eating it.
Yeah.
Perfect that,
Concentrate on
and
the job in
then
hand.
after 6 months, then I can start thinking about other things. But you can't grow too quickly because otherwise, again, that just takes such a toll on your mental and your physical health as
Oh,
well.
yeah. I mean, I've been a victim of that myself,
Yeah,
having,
it's difficult.
tried to
It's
grow things and you
yeah,
take on people. And again, I had a really, really good team.
yeah.
But it's just, it comes too quick.
It's
It's,
so
you
difficult
just
to
can't stop it.
stay controlled in that aspect, and then pass the baton over to the rest of your team as well, and just like it is difficult being a business owner, especially well at any age, but I think when I'm my age, I haven't got this worldly experience. I haven't got experience of working with things like bills, and I haven't managed people before, and everything is a learning curve. But like I say, I think as long as I stay calm, I stay healthy, and I treat people, my team and my customers how I want to be treated, because I've had some horrible bosses before. Not you, you were all right. But as long as
I like the way you got that in.
I want to be the boss that I never had,
Yeah.
so that my team respects me and they work hard for me. And again,
Yeah.
we create those good relationships between the team and the customer and myself. But yeah, I think it's all about you have to prioritize you, and then the rest will follow.
100%. Yeah. Prioritize yourself. Everything
Yeah,
else will
for
fall into
sure.
place. Because if you were taken out, regardless of what you've put
Yeah,
in, besides that this present time, obviously businesses, the aim is to grow it. It can run without you. But
yeah.
certainly in the first 6 months, it's
There's
just
no
not.
way. There's no way I can leave for a good
No.
year, especially being the
Yeah.
chef as well. Like
Yeah.
it takes a long time for it will take a long time for me to. I can't afford a chef right now, but when I can, I've got to go through all this training with them so that they can then take over from me. But
Deliver the
I don't
service
want
that
to
you're
pass the
currently
baton on
delivering.
yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, your business is all about you, but at the same time, you've got to make sure that you're not just business. You have got. It's a bit like when you're in a couple, like you're Chloe and whoever you are,
Yeah.
but you can also be your own separate person as well. It's a bit like
Yes.
that with business. I am
Yeah.
Chloe on my own, but I am also Chloe from the Good Grub. But I can
Yeah.
separate myself.
I completely get that. Having,
Yeah,
ran the marketing agency, and, I was very much
yeah,
intertwined, and MJS Media was me. I was it
yeah,
was like that, it blended together, but actually understanding there's a
yeah,
business and then
yeah,
there's me.
yeah,
And yes, they work very closely, of course, but actually there's things I need to do that prioritize myself, over the business as such. Yeah, not to the detriment of the business. In fact, looking
yeah.
after myself actually is a added benefit to
The
the
most
business.
important thing you can
Yeah,
do.
the most important part. But understanding that you can't just work harder, work longer, and
No,
things like that, and that's going to make it all right. Actually, stopping, taking a break.
yeah,
Scheduling time with your partner or whatever. Actually,
yeah.
that's really, really important because
It's
you
so
don't want to miss out
important.
on those.
I mean, I have human connection all the time, which is amazing. But when I'm stuck in that kitchen, like like I said, I'm a people person. So
Yeah,
I need to know that I've got human interaction to come after that. Because being stuck in the kitchen for hours on end, not talking to anybody, makes you go insane. And when you're stuck in an office, working hours on end, looking at your computer screen, you need human interaction. You need to have
yeah.
something
We're
fun
social
to
creatures.
look forward to. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So yeah, human interaction is a massive thing for me. And yeah, just just, making sure that I remain calm as well. And the way to do that is to make sure that I'm eating well, that I'm sleeping well, that I'm getting outside and having fresh air and seeing people that I love.
Taking care of yourself,
Yeah.
basically. The ambition that you've got is only going to, go somewhere if actually you're in a good, strong, healthy
Yeah,
position to be able to take that forward. So,
absolutely.
well, on that, Chloe, obviously, I wish you all the best with your business. I've been following your journey, and I've loved seeing actually you get to this stage. And I'm excited to hear what's next. You've spoken there a few times about some other ideas and things like
Yeah,
that. And certainly, at your young age, this isn't. I'm sure this isn't the last thing you're going to be doing. I can see, watch
yeah.
this
I need to
space
calm myself
in
down.
the Chloe ecosystem I'm sure it's gonna expand. Chloe,
No,
thank you for joining me today.
thank you for having me. It's been great talking to you about things.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Balanced Ambition podcast. I genuinely hope the stories inspire you as much as they inspire me. If you found value in today's conversation, please share it with a friend. And remember, by subscribing, you won't miss an episode, and it would truly mean the world to me. Stay balanced, and I'll see you next time.